how are you so certain that XRP will thrive and get to high prices when banks and institutions could just use RLUSD since it has high velocity and basically zero volatility? Wouldn't that make more sense for them? In my mind, that makes sense, right? At a surface level visceral response, sure. Why wouldn't you just use the stablecoin? Well, if you understand Nostro-Vostro accounts and you understand third-party risk and you understand how greedy people are, okay? So those 3 things you need to understand. You could probably agree with me that banks are greedy, right? We could all agree banks and institutions want to make as much money as they can. Okay. They don't want to pay Ripple and they have to trust Ripple, okay? And Ripple's good. Like, it's audited, it's transparent. You know that they have the treasuries to back RLUSD. It's at BNY Mellon, like it's pristine, right? Like they're doing it at the highest level. Banks and institutions are going to issue their own stablecoin. Why? Because the treasuries that they're holding are going to pay them a yield that they don't have to pass on to somebody else. And it incentivizes domestic demand for the treasuries. The US and the Fed and everybody else want this to happen, okay? So if we understand that, they don't want to pay Ripple. They don't want Ripple's third-party counterparty risk. They want to issue their own stablecoins. Now you need something to be able to swap between them. And the reason for that is you look at Nostro-Vostro accounts across the world. Okay, there's $27 trillion locked up today in Nostro-Vostro accounts. Nostro-Vostro is Latin for yours and ours, okay? If you want to settle into another country right now, let's say I'm JPMorgan and I want to settle into Belize. I've got to send money to Belize and hold it in their currency, Brazilian real or whatever they settle in there, okay? And if that currency is inflationary, I'm basically lighting that capital on fire. But I have to do that in order to be able to settle with that counterparty. I have to give them some money so that they have collateral so that if something's messed up, they can collect it, okay? With a neutral bridge currency that settles instantaneously and has a DEX built into it, I can use my stable coin, I can send it to them and they can receive it in their stablecoin because it moved through XRP. But to your point, XRP is volatile, right? Well, it's actually less volatile than the current exchange rates between currencies because the settlement time of XRP is 2 to 3 seconds. Whereas if it takes days to settle, there could be significantly more change in the exchange rate between the 2 currencies that you're settling. So it actually provides a better solution. And I think it'll be a high stable price with the amount of demand that we're going to see on it after the supply shock. And at that point, it will be much more stable and there will be less volatility and banks will be much more apt to hold it. And that actually came from David Schwartz. So again, these are all things that I have heard over the years, people smarter than me that talk about them. I'm just able to regurgitate it and try to explain it to people in a distilled down, simple manner that allows you to understand why they wouldn't use RLUSD and they would prefer to use XRP because, again, banks are greedy. They want to make their own money. They don't want to give all their money to Ripple.